Okay, today's the 17th of May 2007, and Jack Delaney will describe the founding of the Greta Seam.
Well, the Greta Seam came through rather unusual situation. J&A Brown, well-known early coal entrepreneurs, started off with a mine on Dumerist land at East Maitland, which is on Shamrock Hill Creek. They lived there in a gun barrel house, and they did quite well out of this seam that they worked first themselves and then later on employed people there. But in 1859 they had gained enough money and finances and enough experience to want to take over the Minmi pit, which they did in about 1857 or 1859, in that era. They closed their workings at East Maitland, on that Shamrock Hill Creek, and they moved the family over into Minmi pit and the places there. Their brother-in-law, a fellow named William Farthing, who married Lilias Brown, had a wife that was like her brothers, very ambitious, and she said, William, you find your own pit and start that. So William started looking around 4 Mile Creek without success, but he heard of coal being floating down Anvil Creek at Brankston in flood time or heavy rain. So he went up looking there and he searched diligently. He gave it a real good for about 3 or 4 months, but he couldn't find just where that took place. So he came home and he said to Lilias, I'm going to go and work for the brothers. She said, no, you're not. You get out and find your own pit. So he went back again to work on the Anvil Creek, and he followed it up and down, and eventually he got into an area about between the railway and the shops, the few shops that were there at Greta in that era. It's a long while ago, and he started looking, and where he thought it was suitable he might dig a bit of a trench to see, and he did so about halfway between Greta Station and the shops, and he was working on the west side of the bank at that particular time, and he dug a slit trench about 2 foot wide and about depth to suit him. He got down eventually onto hardening in that area, and he's digging with his pick and he struck a sound. It was a tinkle, and he said, oh, that sounds something good, and that was the Greta Seam.